Oh, that's funny. I love it.
Yes, I am. I have met you from the policing. This is Washtenaw. I'm Mark Juan. I remember you. I am. I popped up comments right at the first. 6:30 and then 6:45. Oh, so 6:45 and then.
Okay, here's what mine takes more than 2 minutes.
So they have the meeting first.
Because they literally 6:30. I don't understand.
Did that short? Oh, okay.
And you can look, the second meeting was long.
Okay.
All right. I mean,
Let me. I'll email it.
It just went, oopsie. It went in and went out.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'd
I'd like to call to order our meeting, our Ways and Means meeting for April 4th. Edwin, if you wouldn't mind with the roll.
Commissioner Braybeck?
I'm here.
Commissioner Dietrich?
Here.
Commissioner Jamnick?
Here.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Here.
Commissioner Labar? Here. Commissioner Martinez-Kratz? Here. Commissioner Morgan? Commissioner Ping? Commissioner Smith? Here.
Thank you, Edwin. I appreciate that. If there are no objections from the board, we have the illustrious mayor of Ypsilanti with us this evening to receive one of our proclamations. And Commissioner Jefferson is going to be doing the honors this evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Chair and fellow commissioners, and those who are here with us today. I have the honor to present, as we have always loved our mayor in Ypsilanti, Amanda Edmonds, a proclamation here from the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners. We have our Commissioner, Michelle Dietrich, who was very thoughtful of your service and wanted to present this to you. You've been there since the beginning, and it was started in 2012. And so we want you to know that you provided a lot of insight, and you were very effective in making sure that we went forward and that our community was thought about by you. So we want to, even though you're leaving us now, we'll continue to prosper from everything that you did as it goes on forward. And we wish you well and where you're headed now. And we're going to miss your expertise on the council, but everything that you've done will be cherished from there on out. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thanks, Ricky.
Can I say a word? Can I say a word? Thank you so much, Commissioner Jefferson and Commissioner Dietrich, also who is serving as our liaison right now to the Washtenaw Food Policy Council. So in my role there, different from my mayoral role, that is more recent, it's been a lot of years that we spent developing back, starting in probably about 2010, the Washtenaw Food Policy Council, and we looked at food policy councils across the country, which were just emerging at that time, to really figure out how we brought this food system, which is very much a part of our economy, a part of our social life, a part of our community life in many ways in Washtenaw County, which has both urban, suburban, and agricultural rural areas. How we brought that to light and looked at all the, and to the policy front. We've had an active community food movement across sectors and across the different parts of food systems for a long time in Washtenaw County, but it was time to move the needle, so to speak, on policy. And policy is everything from what I'd say is policy with a little p, administrative policy, whether at a government level, an institutional, a school level, all the way up to sort of the big P policy, the legislation that we're looking at municipal, at county, at Water Resource Commission, at state legislature, at even federal level, as well as, of course, school board. And so I was really proud to have been part of the development of that. One of the key decisions we made early on when we were developing the Food Policy Council was where it would be housed. And if we look across Michigan and across the country, it really varies. Sometimes it's a nonprofit organization or on its own. Sometimes it's housed within another nonprofit organization. But we really wanted to have that strong connection to government. We felt the county government made the most sense because we know that there's representation around the County Board of Commissioners from our entire community that really looks at that urban, that suburban, and that rural different ways that people interact with our food system. And so I'm really pleased that the County Board of Commissioners at that time agreed with that and allowed the charter of the Washtenaw Food Policy Council as a commission of the Board of Commissioners and allowed us to have a person, Yusuf Rabi originally and now Michelle Dietrich, be really our liaison. And I think that's helped us move the needle on policy change. We developed in our first few years, I led us through a process of developing a policy agenda, so which you all approved a few years ago, if you recall, if you were here with us, 23-item policy agenda that includes things from the local, the institutional, all the way up to the federal policy level, and we've been ticking that off bit by bit, representing people across sectors and across the county, across the community, from the agricultural community, the food service community, the healthcare, the educational community, the labor community, et cetera. And I want to just encourage, as I've moved on, because more and more people are ready to step up and fill these seats. They're quite competitive these days, which is really great. And this work moves forward, that this board continues to realize that agriculture and food systems is a big part of our economy and a growing part of our economy that really weathers economic storms, both in this county and in this state and country. When some of our other economies we invest in and economic drivers ebb and flow, the food system and the food and agricultural economy has continued to grow and grow and grow. And I think that's something we can be really proud of, and especially those of us coming from more urban areas who tend to not think about agriculture as much, realize and remember that this is a core part of what makes Washtenaw County strong, what makes Washtenaw County attractive to visitors, what makes Washtenaw County a great place to be because of this diversity that we have in our food system. So thank you for this honor, and thank you for our Board of Commissioners and our county staff for continuing to recognize the role of food systems, and agriculture, both in the core of everyone needs to eat and everyone deserves access to healthy food, which is what my life and career has been about, as well as the win-win-wins of when we bring together food producers, food buyers, food processors, and eaters together, then we really have strong systems on an economic, social, and an ecological level. Thanks.
Thank you for being here with us this evening, Mayor. Any comments from the board? Commissioner Dietrich.
Mayor Edmonds, just a quick thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure serving with you on the Food Policy Council. You will be missed, and your creative, inspirational, and always informative contributions to every meeting are going to be definitely missed. I'll do my best to try to step up and fill that slot. And I think we have another member of the Food Policy Council here, Ruth Blackburn. Yeah, thank you so much for being here too. Thanks.
Commissioner Morgan.
Yeah, I just want to add my thanks to Mayor Edmonds. In the many years I've known her, everything she's done has been focused on improving access to healthy food and improving the lives of the residents of our community. So it really is amazing what you've been able to do, and I look forward to the new things that you'll do with your little bit of extra time now. So thank you.
Thank you. So if there are no further comments, we can continue moving through our agenda here. Okay. Now is the time for citizen participation. If there's anyone who's with us here this evening, please come on up to the podium and state your name and your area that you're from, and you'll have 3 minutes. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Libby Hunter. I live in Ann Arbor. I found an editorial online that I wanted to read. It's called Washtenaw County Needs a Progressive Prosecuting Attorney, and it was written by Ben Connor Berry. So this is what he writes. Last year, Philadelphia elected a progressive district attorney, Larry Krasner, a civil rights attorney, and he campaigned on a reformist agenda. Since taking office, Krasner has not disappointed. He has instructed all prosecutors to stop charging cannabis possession regardless of weight. He has instructed all prosecutors to stop charging sex workers with fewer than 3 convictions. And those who have 3 or more are referred to a special diversionary program. Importantly, in his first week on the job in Philadelphia, Krasner fired 31 prosecuting attorneys who were not committed to the reformist agenda. You can read more about the great work he's doing in Sean King's article on The Intercept. So remember his name, Larry Krasner. Why am I writing about an elected official in Philadelphia on this local website? I'm writing about D.A. Krasner because in our criminal justice system, under the principle of prosecutorial discretion, prosecutors have wide latitude in terms of which charges they bring. Krasner is using his discretion to enact sweeping criminal justice reforms. I would like to see the Washtenaw County prosecutor undertake similar progressive reforms. Specifically, 1, an immediate end to all prosecutions for possession of controlled substances, regardless of weight. Substance use disorders are a serious public health problem. The criminal justice system is not the right tool to address public health problems. People who have substance use disorders should not face any criminal justice sanctions that result from their disease. Furthermore, treating addicts is less costly than jailing and/or imprisoning them. Recreational drug users are harming themselves to some degree, but that does not mean they should face sanction from the criminal justice system. We allow adults to choose to do harmful things without imprisoning them in our society. In short, it is immoral and expensive to prosecute and imprison people with substance use disorders, as well as recreational drug users. Money should instead be spent on harm reduction and fully funded robust treatment services. The minute someone in Washtenaw County who has a substance use disorder decides they want to seek treatment, there should be a space available for them in a local treatment facility, regardless of their ability to pay. And I will finish this shortly. Okay.
Is there anyone else who's with us this evening who'd like to address the board? Please come on up. Good evening.
Hello, I'm Terry Swick. I'm the chairman of the Washtenaw County Historic District Commission. And on your agenda today in the supplemental section, you have an opportunity to approve the Thorn Oaks Historic District, which if you do approve, it'll be our 15th historic district. It'll also be our largest. It encompasses 30 homes, and it's a mid-century modern historic district. And we were approached by the citizens to make this happen, and we've worked with them. We've gone through the process. You've obviously voted approval of the study committee. And our Historic District Commission had a meeting at our November meeting and approved, or recommended approval of this historic district to be added to the collection that we already have in our county. Once again, this is a very unique neighborhood of mid-century modern homes. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure this will be the first mid-century modern historic district in the state of Michigan. And there's one other that's being investigated right now. I don't think it's been approved yet, so this would be the first in our state if it does get approved. So hopefully you'll consider that and approve it tonight so we can get onto the agenda for 2 weeks from now. And then on a slightly different subject, I want to thank you for finding some place in our budget for our staff person. We have a temporary person who started filling in for us last month, and that'll help us get through for a while. As you're well aware, last year we lost our funding for our full-time staff, and you're hopefully looking at the 4-year plan and going to find a place in that budget for our staff to be there so we can have continuity, which we lost this time because of the interruption between the budget of last year and this year. So once again, thank you for finding a place for us to have the temporary aid that we have now. Thank you.
Thank you. Please come on up. Evening.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Christine Bolheis, and I live in Ann Arbor Township. I'm the president of the Thorn Oaks Neighborhood Association that you are considering this evening, as Terry just spoke about. We have been a neighborhood association for 50 years now. I have been president of the association for the last 5 years, and I would just like the board to know that this request to become a historic district definitely arose from our neighborhood. For the 7 years I've lived in the neighborhood, every year at our annual neighborhood meeting, which has been going on for 50 years, residents spoke about the problem we've already experienced in our neighborhood of houses being torn down, being raised, and new construction being built in their place. New, much larger, much more elaborate construction than our pretty modest mid-century modern houses. So the residents would like to have some protection to help our neighborhood maintain its character. And all the architect design homes in the neighborhood are truly special. They're custom built and really beautiful examples of a somewhat modest mid-century modern type of architecture. structure. And the architect who spearheaded the neighborhood was an Ann Arbor resident and a graduate of the University of Michigan. So the district really pertains to local history. So thank you for your consideration tonight. We do appreciate your time.
Thank you. Any other citizens with us this evening who'd like to address the board? Okay, so, it's good to see you. Welcome back.
Hello, Commissioners and Administrator. I'm coming to you in a different capacity as a Washtenaw County resident and as a part-time faculty member in the graduate program for historic preservation at Eastern Michigan University. And it is my professional opinion that I hope that you designate this district. You've seen the work that we put into it while I was in the staff position here. And I want you to also remember that the Washtenaw County Historic Preservation Program has been around since 1974, and it has always been their tradition that they are out front and they respond to citizens' requests. This is citizen-driven, and it is a way to protect vulnerable resources. I thank you for taking it under consideration and appreciate you for the time to speak.
Thank you. Anyone else with us this evening who'd like to address the board at this time? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move to Commissioner follow-up. I have Commissioner LaBarre.
Thanks, Chair. The woman who just spoke committed an error, and that is that she didn't state her name, Melissa Milton Pung. And Melissa is a testament to the kind of staff that we should be proud of in Washtenaw County. Unfortunately, after years being with us, she's on to a different opportunity. But I want to thank Melissa directly. This is a neighborhood in a township island in the district I represent, and truth be told, I wouldn't have known about the importance of the issue to the degree I got to know about it if it wasn't for the work Melissa did proactively as a staff member in reaching out with the neighborhood organization and really running the traps on a long process. And so I want to thank Melissa specifically, but I want to just ask us all to remember the importance of great staff as we go forward, especially as we look at filling that 4-year budget, and do we want to have historic preservation within it. But mainly, Melissa, thank you for your years of service and your work on this issue. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Any other commissioners this evening? Okay. Would someone like to move the agenda for us? Thank you, Commissioner LaBarre. That'd be great. Don't forget we have a supplemental with 2 items as well.
I will not forget.
Thank you.
I move item A1, Office of Community and Economic Development, DEQ Clean Michigan Initiative Grant, B1A, Workers' Comp Excess Insurance Coverage, and CA, 2018 General Fund Adjustment, as well as the supplemental.
2 items on the supplemental, D and E.
Forgive me. The 2 items on the supplemental, D and E.
Okay.
Budget priorities, principles, the upcoming quadrennial budget, and the Thorn Oaks neighborhood LHD.
Perfect. So there's 2 supplementals, folks, for our meeting. So there's one for the board meeting, one for Ways and Means, just so there's not confusion. Yes.
Forgive me.
Yes.
The administration reminded me we'd like to try and move CA, the 2018 general fund, through both meetings, just because of the timing issue.
Okay, great. So the agenda has been moved. Is there support for the agenda? Great, the agenda has been moved and supported. Why don't we make our way through this, folks, and then we can vote on this. So first is the DEQ grant. Any questions on that? Okay. Next, we have our workman's compensation. I know that we have this every year, but any questions on this? Okay. Next, we have the fund budget adjustment, general fund budget adjustment. Questions? Commissioner Dietrich.
Yeah, I have a question, I guess, for the administrator on page 4 of that section, which is the actual resolution. I'm just confused. about what I've sort of been told verbally versus what's here, and I think it's just the way the sentence is structured, but it says there'll be 822,000, sorry, I'll let you get there if you're not. So this is like the sixth paragraph, the next to last on that page. It says 822,000 goes to the Office of Infrastructure Management, and 172,000 is for trial court. Is that correct? Because I thought that the way it's written, I thought a lot more of it was going to the trial court from what our discussions. Thank you.
I'm going to yield to our CFO.
Good evening. What that is stating there is that there is $822,000 of general fund appropriation, a surplus that would go to OIM, and an additional $172,000 that was a trial court surplus will be directed to also towards the front of the court refurb, and then another of that 172, 112 will go to the FOC renovations, and then 60,000 for judicial technology. So it keeps them current in the technology. So that's an addition.
Okay, so I did understand it correctly. 822,000 is going to Office of Infrastructure Management, and that's basically bringing us up to the level of investment that we used to have prior to the Great Recession. Is that
I wouldn't
correct?
say it doesn't bring us up to the level we had. Excuse my voice. But it does. What we try to do is that because we know we've having to reduce funding to OIM for these type of capital projects for renovations, is that we attempt to address the most needed infrastructure needs each year with, if there's some surplus, to try and address some of that. Like in the FOC, there's actually state statutes that we are behind in providing appropriate meeting rooms for clients and their attorneys with our staff.
And so that 822,000, some of that is going to the Friends of the Court renovations, right? Okay, so that's, I think, where the confusion happened in my conversations with people. Thank you. I appreciate your clearing that up.
Welcome.
Any other commissioners on this item? Okay. Next, we'll move to the work that we all did, the budget priorities and principles. Okay. Commissioner LaBarre.
Thanks, Chair.
Sure.
Is Kerry here?
No, he is not. I did not see him.
Well, the gentleman who facilitated the discussion did a fantastic job.
Yep.
Thanks.
I think led us to a great result. So, and finally, anything on our Thorn Oaks Historic District? Okay. Edwin, you're up.
Commissioner Braybeck?
Yes.
Commissioner Dietrich?
Yes.
Commissioner Jamnick?
Yes.
Commissioner Jefferson?
Yes.
Commissioner LaBarre?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinez-Kratz?
Yes.
Commissioner Morgan?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Agenda passed.
Thanks, Edwin. Report of the Administrator.
No report this evening.
Report of the Chair of Ways and Means. I just want to say a big thank you again to all of you for your work last month as we worked on creating, revisiting, and then creating both the priorities and the principles. I'm excited for our finance team to bring that out to our organization as we continue to develop the quadrennial budget. So thank you all for all the work. Report of the Chair.
Thanks, Chair. 2 items. Expect, just based on talking to our OCED director, hopefully in the next few weeks, some sort of update for the board as a whole on the Platte Road issue. I understand it's still in negotiation, so we can never be sure, but look out for that. And then some bad news. I emailed today, Trish Cortez, our CMH director, sent out an article related to the deficits that have accrued from the state software issue, the CHAMPS issue, around the Medicaid classification. Long and short of it is that deficit has grown from 100 million statewide to 133 million statewide. So that remains not just a problem, but a growing problem. Just to alert that to everyone, and we'll just take a minute or two between meetings.
Great, thank you. Any items for current or future discussion? Any pending items? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody. Are you good?
Aye.